His hand slid across my waist before I could step back. The mirror-lined walls of the gym's private stretching room reflected everything I wanted to deny. Cole's breath hovered near my ear. The room smelled of sweat, eucalyptus, and temptation. My pulse jumped. My skin heated. Every part of my body leaned toward him even though my heart screamed for me to walk away. He held my hips lightly, firmly, guiding my movement as if he owned my body for that moment. When he whispered, "You feel tense. I can help you relax," my legs trembled. The guilt came first. Then the desire. Then the terrifying truth: my body was responding to a man who was not my husband. I told myself it was just stretching. I told myself he was only doing his job. I told myself that stepping away would be easy. But when his fingers traced a slow line along my side, my body said yes. Even while my heart screamed no. That was the moment I crossed a line I knew I could never uncross. Before I continue, I want to thank every one of you for being here. To all my loyal subscribers, your support is the heartbeat of this channel. And to all new and returning viewers who are yet to subscribe, I cannot wait for you to hit that subscribe button because your support is the fuel that keeps this channel alive. Do not forget to share your thoughts in the comments when the story ends. Now, let me take you back to where this downfall began. My name is Hannah Rivers, and I am 31 years old. I live in Phoenix, Arizona, in a suburban neighborhood filled with sunlight, tall palm trees, and couples walking golden retrievers every evening. On the outside, my life seemed picture perfect. I had a good job as a medical assistant, a comfortable home, and a husband who loved me with a quiet loyalty that many women pray for. My husband, Ethan Rivers, is 33. Ethan is calm, steady, predictable in the best way. He is the man who kisses my forehead every morning before leaving for work. The man who warms my coffee mug so it never gets cold. The man who believes in gentle affection, soft touches, and slow moments. But sometimes gentleness can feel like silence. Sometimes stability can feel like routine. And routine can become a slow drifting that no one notices until it is too late. Ethan and I were not fighting. We were not distant on purpose. Life simply became repetitive. Work. Dinner. Sleep. Repeat. Every day looked like the last. And slowly, my heart began craving something different, something unpredictable, something thrilling, something reckless. I hated myself for wanting that. But then Cole walked in. I met Cole Harrison on a Wednesday evening. The gym was half empty, the speakers humming soft music, the air cool enough to keep sweat from collecting too quickly. I had signed up for a personal training program to work on my health, but in truth, I just needed to feel something again. Cole walked toward me with confidence wrapped around him like a second skin. Broad shoulders. Deep brown eyes. A grin that said he knew exactly how attractive he was. "Are you Hannah?" he asked. "Yes," I answered, trying to sound calm. He extended his hand, and when I placed mine in his, something electric shot through me. His touch was firm, warm, assertive. "I am Cole," he said. "I will be working with you." Something inside me shifted in that moment. A small spark. A small danger. A small thrill I tried to ignore. But it did not go away. Our session started simple. Squats. Lunges. Stretching. Normal things. But Cole's eyes followed every movement. Not in an inappropriate way, at least not at first. But there was an intensity in the way he watched me, an unspoken message that I pretended not to understand. One day, while adjusting my posture, he placed both hands on my lower back. My breath caught. His touch lingered half a second longer than necessary. He noticed my reaction. He smirked softly. Then he stepped back. Over the next sessions, those moments became frequent. His fingertips brushing my arm. His hands steadying my waist. His voice lowering when he spoke to me. His eyes lingering on my lips before returning to my face. My heart said no. But my body leaned into every touch, every word, every spark. And that terrified me the most. Everything changed the day he asked, "Do you mind if we stretch in the private room today? It will help you relax more." I should have said no. I should have walked away. I should have remembered my vows. But I followed him. The room was smaller, quieter, isolated. The lights were dimmer. The air smelled cleaner. The door shut behind me with a soft click that sounded far too intimate. Cole placed a mat on the floor and motioned for me to lie down. I obeyed. As he stretched my legs and arms, his fingers pressed into my muscles, strong and deliberate. I tried to focus on breathing, but every touch made it harder. His hands were too warm. His voice was too soft. His presence was too close. At one point, he leaned over me, guiding my arm. His chest brushed mine. His breath touched my cheek. My body reacted before my mind could stop it. Heat spread through me like wildfire. My pulse raced. My eyes closed. My thoughts blurred. I felt him. He knew I felt him. And he did not move away. His hands slid along my waist slowly, dangerously. A path no trainer needed to touch. My breath shook quietly. When he whispered, "You are very tense, Hannah," something in me broke open. My body said yes. And I hated that it did. He helped me sit up at the end of the session. I felt dizzy, flushed, guilty. He held my shoulders a second longer than necessary. His fingers curled slightly, almost pulling me closer. "Hannah," he said softly, "you do not have to pretend you do not feel this." I swallowed hard. I am married. His eyes locked with mine. That does not change what your body wants. My heart screamed no. Every moral part of me screamed no. But my body trembled with a desire I had not felt in years. I stood up too quickly, grabbed my bag, and walked out without looking back. But the truth was painful and clear. I wanted him. I wanted the attention. I wanted the danger. I wanted something I should not want. When I got home, Ethan was cooking dinner, humming quietly to himself. He turned to me with his usual soft smile. "You look glowing today," he said. The guilt punched me in the chest so hard I almost lost my breath. I forced a smile. "I am just tired." He kissed my forehead and returned to his pot. But all I could think about was Cole's hands on my waist. His closeness. His breath against my skin. The room where I forgot myself. I lay awake that night, staring at the ceiling, replaying everything in my mind. The warmth. The electricity. The danger. The guilt. The shame. And the terrifying truth that I had crossed an emotional line long before anything physical happened. I knew I was falling. I knew danger was getting closer. I knew my heart was breaking itself from the inside. But my body was not done betraying me. The morning after that stretching session felt heavier than any morning I had lived through in years. I woke up early, long before Ethan stirred beside me. The sunlight creeping through the blinds felt harsh, too bright, almost accusing. I lay still, staring at the ceiling, trying to calm the storm in my chest. I pressed my hand to my heart, willing it to slow down, but all I could feel was the memory of Cole's hands, the heat of his breath, the way my body responded without permission. My heart whispered warnings. My conscience begged me to stop whatever was starting. But deep beneath all the guilt, a part of me was hungry for more. I hated that part of myself. But it was awake now. And it would not go back to sleep. At breakfast, Ethan sat across from me reading the news on his phone. He looked peaceful, secure, unaware of the war raging inside me. I watched him butter toast the same way he always did, slow and neat. I watched the way he smiled when he caught me staring. "What is it?" he asked softly. "Nothing," I answered. But something was happening, and the problem was that it was happening to me, not to us. Ethan was not doing anything wrong. He was loving me in the same steady, gentle way he always had. And I was the one changing. I was the one drifting. I was the one craving something he did not know how to give. The guilt clung to me like heavy fog as I drove to the gym later that afternoon. I told myself I would cancel the session. Tell Cole I needed a break. Tell him yesterday cannot happen again. I rehearsed the speech in my head the entire drive. I do not want anything inappropriate. I am married. We need clear boundaries. But when I walked into the gym and saw him leaning against the counter, flashing that confident smile, every rehearsed word vanished. He looked at me like the room shifted the moment I entered. And my body reacted before my mind could regain control. "Ready for today?" he asked, voice low and warm. No. My heart said no. But my body nodded. Over the next week, Cole pushed boundaries little by little. His hands trailed longer. His compliments grew more personal. His voice dropped lower each session. He noticed everything, the way my breathing changed, the way my hands trembled, the way my eyes searched his without meaning to. One afternoon, he stepped behind me during a squat correction, placing his hands firmly on my hips. His fingers pressed into me slowly as he guided my movement. My breath stumbled. My legs nearly collapsed. His chest brushed my back lightly, but deliberately. A spark shot down my spine. "Good," he murmured against my shoulder. Everywhere he touched felt like fire. Every place he guided felt like temptation. And every inch of me screamed to pull away. But I did not. I could not. I stayed there, breathing too fast, skin too warm, conscience too loud. When the session ended, I left the gym shaking. I lasted one day before I broke. I was lying beside Ethan as he slept, his arm draped around me. His breathing was calm, gentle, peaceful. I stared into the darkness, feeling everything but peace. My phone buzzed. A message lit the screen. It was from Cole. "I cannot stop thinking about today." My heart dropped. My stomach twisted. My fingers shook. I knew I should ignore him. I knew responding would drag me deeper. I knew I was already in dangerous territory. But my body moved without my permission. I opened the message. I read it again. And then I replied. "Me neither." The second I pressed send, my chest constricted. It felt like betrayal. Because it was. He replied instantly. "You felt it too. Stop pretending you did not." I locked my phone quickly, terrified Ethan would wake up and see the brightness. But the message replayed in my mind over and over again. "You felt it too." My heart was screaming. My conscience was crying. But my body whispered yes. The next session was worse. And by worse, I mean more intoxicating. Cole waited for me in the private room. The moment I stepped in, I felt the tension hanging between us, thick and undeniable. He closed the door without speaking. The click of that door sounded like a sin. He walked toward me slowly, not touching me, but the air around us hummed. "Hannah," he said quietly, "you need to stop acting scared of what you want." My breathing grew shallow. He stepped closer until his body heat pressed against me, but his hands stayed at his sides. "I know you feel this," he said. "Every time I touch you, your body tells me the truth." I closed my eyes, feeling the panic and desire collide. "I am married," I whispered. "I know," he replied. "Your ring tells me no. But your body does not." And then he did something that destroyed my last bit of resistance. He brushed a strand of hair from my cheek. Slowly. Softly. Intentionally. My breath trembled. His fingers were so close to my lips that I felt heat pooling in places I wished I did not feel anything. For the first time, I did not step back. And he noticed. After that day, I became someone I no longer recognized. I began dressing differently for the gym. I checked my phone constantly. I spent more time in the mirror. I avoided Ethan's eyes at dinner. He noticed my distance, but he trusted me too much to imagine the truth. "Hannah," he said one night, "are you stressed? Are you okay?" His concern made me shrink inside myself. He was being loving. And I was being disloyal. I could feel our marriage slowly slipping like sand through my fingers, but I did nothing to stop it. In fact, I dug deeper into the mess I was making. My heart was screaming no. But my body was chasing a fire I did not know how to put out. Then came the day everything shifted. A woman approached me in the locker room. She looked tired, frustrated, and emotionally drained. Her eyes were red as if she had been crying before walking up to me. "Are you training with Cole?" she asked. "Yes," I answered, unsure why she looked so troubled. She inhaled shakily. "I was with him for 3 months. I thought he cared about me. Then I found out there were 2 other women. Married women." My stomach dropped to my knees. She continued, voice trembling. "He likes women who feel lonely. He knows how to talk. How to touch. How to make you forget your life. He does it on purpose." I felt the room tilt. I felt my heart crack. I felt the shame burn through me. "He will make you think you are special," she said. "But you are not the first. And you will not be the last." She walked away before I could speak. I stood frozen, feeling sick. So I was not the exception. I was not the only one. I was not desired. I was targeted. And yet, even after knowing this, even after hearing her pain, my body still wanted him. My heart screamed no louder than ever before. But the fire was not out. Not yet. I knew the truth about Cole now. I knew he was dangerous. Manipulative. Charming in ways that felt like poison disguised as sugar. I knew he had done this before. I knew I was not special. I knew he was not worth the destruction of a marriage. But knowing the truth does not always save you from the consequences of your own actions. Even after the warning from the woman in the locker room, my body still reacted every time I thought about the way he touched me. And that was the most terrifying part, that the body can betray the heart, the mind, and everything we know is right. My heart screamed for me to stop. But the fire had already started. And I was about to burn everything I loved. It happened on a Friday evening. Ethan and I were on the couch watching a movie. His leg pressed against mine gently. His hand rested softly on my knee. It felt wrong. Not because he did anything wrong, but because I had shattered something sacred without telling him. Halfway through the movie, my phone buzzed. Ethan did not look at it. He trusted me. That was the part that hurt the most. I picked up my phone and saw a message from an unknown number. It was Cole. "I missed the way your body responded to me." My blood ran cold. The room tilted. My breath hitched so sharply Ethan noticed. "You okay?" he asked. "Yes," I whispered, turning the phone over quickly. But it was too late. The message preview had flashed across the screen for a moment too long. And Ethan saw just enough to know something was wrong. He reached for my phone slowly. "Hannah, what was that?" My throat closed. My fingers froze. My heart pounded so loudly I could barely hear his voice. "Just a work message," I lied, too quickly. His eyes sharpened, the first sign of suspicion I had ever seen in him. "Let me see," he said calmly. His calmness terrified me more than anger ever could. I held the phone tighter. A reflex. A mistake. The final nail in my coffin. "Why can you not let me see the message?" he asked softly, voice cracking at the edges. I stared into his eyes. Eyes that loved me. Eyes that trusted me. Eyes I no longer deserved to look into. Hannah, he said, voice shaking, give me the phone. I did not move. And that was enough. He reached out, pried it from my hand gently, and unlocked it before I could stop him. The moment he read the message, his entire body went still. Shock. Confusion. Pain. Then something much worse, recognition. This is not work, he whispered. I covered my face, but that did nothing to soften the blow. Ethan stood slowly, staring at the screen as if it were a ghost haunting him. What did you do? He asked quietly. I tried to speak, but no sound came out. What did you do, Hannah? I broke. I made a mistake, I cried. A horrible mistake. He stepped back, devastated. With who? He asked. Someone at the gym. His face fell even deeper. That trainer? I nodded, unable to hold his gaze. Ethan pressed a hand to his forehead and stumbled back as if the truth physically struck him. You let him touch you? I cried harder. You let him talk to you like that? I cried even harder. You let him into your body when I trusted you with my entire heart? I collapsed onto the couch, sobbing. He stared at me in a silence that crushed me more than screaming ever could. He did not yell. He did not curse. He did not rage. The pain inside him was too deep for loudness. Why? He whispered. Why was my love not enough? I shook my head through tears. It was not you. It was me. I felt invisible. I felt empty. I felt. So you chose him, he said. My sobbing grew louder. You chose a stranger over your marriage? I did not choose him, I cried. I just broke. He stared at me for a long, heartbreaking moment. Then he said words I will never forget. You broke us. Not you. Us. Ethan walked to the door and opened it. You cannot stay here tonight, he said softly. I cannot breathe with you in this house. My chest cracked open. Ethan, please. No, he said. The gentleness was gone. The finality was sharp. You betrayed me in your body before you betrayed me in words. Pack your things. I fell to my knees. Please, Ethan. Please do not do this. He pointed to the bedroom. You have 10 minutes, Hannah. My heart shattered. My body shook. My mind screamed to undo everything. But consequences do not disappear just because we finally regret them. I packed with trembling hands. Clothes. A few toiletries. My shoes. My guilt. My shame. Everything else felt like it no longer belonged to me. When I stepped out with my small suitcase, Ethan stood in the hallway with his arms crossed tightly against his chest. His eyes were red. His jaw clenched. His heart broken. He opened the door without looking at me. Go. I stood frozen, crying quietly. Ethan, I love you. He flinched at the word. No, he whispered. Do not say that. The woman who loved me would not have done this. Those words cut deeper than any blade. I walked out. He shut the door behind me. And just like that, my marriage ended. The next day, my foolishness reached its final humiliation. Cole did not answer my messages. He did not return my calls. He did not appear at the gym. He vanished. I later learned from a staff member that he had quit suddenly. He moved on. Just like that. He never cared. Not even a little. I realized too late that he had taken what he wanted, my attention, my vulnerability, my desire, and left me with the debris. I was not the first. I was not the only. I was not special. And I had destroyed my life for a man who forgot me within hours. I moved into a small apartment on the edge of town. The walls were bare. The rooms were empty. The silence was punishing. I lay awake every night replaying everything. The stretching room. The messages. The desire. The guilt. The moment Ethan closed the door. I lost the man who loved me. I lost the home that kept me safe. I lost the version of myself I once respected. All because I let my body say yes, while my heart screamed no.